She was 3 months pregnant when Lucas, the son of Gloria, the woman Erick had always secretly loved, shoved her and caused her to miscarry. Lying in a hospital bed, her voice weak, she whispered, "Erick, I want rib soup." Erick forced a stiff smile, avoiding her gaze. "Luna, are you hungry? I'll make you some porridge," she repeated, her tone trembling. "I want rib soup. I just had a miscarriage. The doctors said I'm malnourished. I need real food." He went silent for a long time before muttering, "Luna, we don't have any more meat coupons." That was a lie, and they both knew it. She had been saving them for over half a year, not using a single one, so she could bring half to his parents during the new year. Erick lowered his head and stammered, "Gloria and her son just arrived. They're going through a hard time." I felt sorry for them. So she stared at him, and in that moment, the young Erick she once loved blurred with a cold, calculating man he would become 40 years later, a man who always put Gloria and her child first. In her past life, she had died to finally understand that truth. So why, even now, had she hoped for something different? A bitter laugh escaped her lips. She looked him straight in the eye and said each word slowly, "Erick, let's get a divorce." Erick didn't take her seriously. He thought it was just a jealous tantrum. He believed that because she had once loved him madly. She had given up her chance to go to college for him, abandoned her comfortable life just to follow him when he had nothing, all because she dreamed of being by his side as his devoted wife. Erick knew everything she had sacrificed. And yes, they had once been deeply in love. They used to share a single bun, one egg, even a piece of candy he would bite half, and she would eat the rest. Back then, her world revolved around him, and his around hers. He once held her tight and promised, voice trembling with emotion, "Luna, you've suffered so much for me. I swear I'll treat you well. I'll give you the best life I can." And she believed him. But that promise only lasted 3 years. In the 3rd year of their marriage, just when Erick got promoted and she thought their good days had finally come, Gloria returned his childhood love, his unreachable dream. And she brought along her son, Lucas. From that day on, Erick began to forget every vow he had made. He chased after Gloria, found her a house, got her a position in the arts troupe. If her home needed repairs, even a leaking faucet or a broken bulb, Erick rushed over without hesitation. But in their own home, she had to do everything. She didn't want him to come home tired from work and still have to do chores, so she carried the burden alone. From a delicate young woman, she turned into a full-time housewife. At home, Erick always had hot meals, warm baths, and clean clothes waiting for him. He didn't lift a finger. In her past life, she naively believed he was just helping Gloria out of kindness until Lucas pushed her while pregnant and made her lose their baby. Until 5 years later, when she was pregnant again and due to give birth, she and Gloria were in a car accident. Erick told the doctor to save Gloria first and left her to bleed out on her own. Still, she survived. She gave birth, but lost her uterus in the process. She could never have children again. So she poured all her love into her one and only son. She raised him carefully, handled everything for him, hired tutors, watched over his studies. He got into the best university, earned his PhD, and Erick climbed the ranks until he became the supreme leader. She was happy. She went out to buy food to cook a celebratory dinner for father and son. But on the way home, she got into a car accident. Lying in her hospital bed, she overheard her son speaking to Erick, "Dad, now that Mom's gone, can you marry Aunt Gloria? She's waited so many years. It's time you gave her a proper place." Her eyes snapped open in disbelief. There they were, Erick and her son standing at her bedside, heads bowed. She heard her son speak about how much Gloria had suffered, how hard her life had been, and a blazing fury filled her chest. The betrayal of the man she trusted most and the son she had raised with all her love tore her apart. She spat blood from sheer rage and closed her eyes in pain and resentment. She never imagined she'd get a second chance. But she was reborn, back to the summer of 1985, to the 3rd year of her marriage. to the exact moment when Lucas would push her and make her lose her 3-month pregnancy. Knowing everything that was to come, she refused to live the same way. With her heart in pieces, she asked Erick for a divorce. He refused, thinking she was just being jealous. For the first time, he even promised her, "Luna, I'm sorry. I know you're upset about the baby. I'll keep my distance from Gloria. I swear." She closed her eyes and said nothing. There was nothing more to say. "I want a divorce." She stayed in the hospital for a week. Erick was away on assignment the entire time. The day she was discharged, she walked home alone. The streets were nearly empty. A soup vendor shouted from a stall, "Fresh lamb soup. Good for restoring strength, come, get a bowl." She looked down at her patched clothes and thought about how Erick had given all their meat coupons to Gloria and her son. He hadn't cared that she, having just miscarried, needed nourishment. To love or not to love it made all the difference. Erick didn't love her, so she had to start loving herself. She stepped into the stall and said to the vendor, "1 bowl of lamb soup, please." He looked at her, surprised. "Are you sure? Didn't you say the other day you were saving up to send money to your in-laws?" "Not anymore," she said quietly. She couldn't believe how foolish she had been. She used to count every cent like it could be split 10 ways. But what for? All those meat coupons, grain tickets, cloth vouchers. Erick handed them over to Gloria and her son without a second thought. And she? She ate leftovers and wore rags. The woman she used to be was painfully naive. But this time, she would cherish herself. And she'd start with this lamb soup. The only thing she had brought with her into that marriage was a gold bracelet, a gift from her grandmother. Erick hadn't had a single cent to his name. She sold the bracelet. With part of the money, she helped his parents. With the rest, she covered their basic expenses. And with a few coins left over, she bought 2 modest gold rings, their wedding bands. After getting married, both she and Erick worked hard, living on the bare minimum. But his family, his parents, and younger siblings devoured nearly half of their income every month. Only the scraps were left for the two of them. For 2 full years, she pinched every penny, dreaming of decorating their home, of making it truly their own. And where had that money gone? Erick had given it all to Gloria and her son, so they could get settled. And when there wasn't a single yuan left, when Gloria mentioned she didn't have clothes or shoes to dance in, Erick had secretly pawned their wedding rings. The rings she bought with the last of her grandmother's gold, with every ounce of love and faith she had in him, had traded them for Gloria's stage costumes and ballet slippers. Dressed in those glamorous outfits, Gloria had dazzled under the spotlight, capturing the attention of the troop leaders and soaring straight to stardom. Did she thank Luna? Never. On the contrary, Gloria had strutted up to her, flaunting her success, gloating over the so-called great love she and Erick shared. Thinking back on how silently she had swallowed all of that humiliation in her past life made Luna laugh a cold, scornful laugh. But not this time. This time, she would pawn those rings herself before Erick ever got the chance. If he thought he could use her love as a stepping stone for Gloria's future, he could forget it. The 2 rings weighed 15 grams altogether. In 1984, gold was cheap, just over 30 yuan per gram. She sold them for a little under 500 yuan. With the money in hand, she walked past the supply cooperative. Glancing at her patched and worn clothing, she didn't hesitate. When she walked out, she was carrying a bag. She had exchanged all her cloth coupons for 3 brand-new outfits. Her shoes were falling apart, so she bought 2 new pairs. When she returned home, Erick was already there. The moment he saw her, he reached for the bag in her hands. She took a step back and pulled it away. He rubbed his hands awkwardly, trying to sound casual. "I went to the hospital to pick you up. The doctor said you'd already been discharged." She said nothing. He hesitated, then asked gently, "Luna, are you still hurting?" Her voice was cold. "Of course it hurts. How could it not?" he faltered. Well, Gloria already had Lucas apologize. "It won't happen again." "Apologize?" She raised an eyebrow. "When did that happen?" Because no one told me. Erick tried to explain. Lucas knows he did wrong. He's scared to face you, so he told me. I forgave him for you. Erick, her voice sharpened. What gave you the right to forgive someone on my behalf? Isn't that baby yours too? How can you be so heartless? Erick's expression twisted with discomfort. He reached for her hand, his voice gentle. Luna, I know you've suffered. Please, focus on healing. We're still young. We can have more children. No, she yanked her hand away. Looking him directly in the eyes, she said each word with chilling clarity. You and I will never have children again. Because I will never bring another child into this world just to have him betray me and call another woman mom. In this life, Erick, we're finished. There's no future for us. Still, he thought she was just overreacting. Nervous but patient, he tried to soothe her. Suddenly, he pulled her into a tight embrace, his arms locking her against his chest. His voice lowered to a tender whisper. Luna, my love, it's all my fault. Hit me, yell at me if you must, but please, don't shut me out. He claimed it was his fault, but did he even understand why? She doubted it. Just then, footsteps echoed from the hallway. The door creaked open. It was Gloria. She froze in place, letting out a faint gasp. Erick let go of Luna instantly. But Gloria didn't leave. Her eyes swept over Luna with thinly veiled resentment. Then she turned to Erick, her voice trembling, soft, almost pitiful. Erick, I need to talk to you. At that, Luna laughed an ice-cold laugh and turned around, slamming the bedroom door shut. Out in the living room, Gloria bit her lip with the air of a sweet, innocent girl. Erick, is Luna still mad at me? Don't think like that, he replied hurriedly. Luna isn't the type to hold grudges. Then what did you want to talk to me about? Gloria hesitated. It's about the other day. I asked around for the price of the performance outfit and shoes. It's almost 500 yuan. I don't even have half of that. Maybe I should just give up being the lead dancer. Erick said nothing at first. Then he answered, it's a huge opportunity. You can't let it slip. But I don't have the money, and things are tight for you too. Besides, Luna's still upset. I don't want to cause a fight between you two. So considerate. So demure. How could Erick possibly resist her? He looked at her tenderly. Don't worry. I'll find a way. Just wait. Gloria left looking pleased. Minutes later, Erick walked into the bedroom. He knelt down, pulled out the box from under the bed and froze. Where is everything? The grain coupons, the fabric vouchers, our wedding rings, there's nothing here. Luna sat up in bed, calm and composed. I used the fabric coupons to buy clothes and shoes. The grain coupons went toward food. Erick's expression shifted. You just suddenly decided to go shopping? He asked, his tone laced with disapproval. Oh, really? Luna replied, her voice rising. So Gloria can use my coupons to buy clothes, but I can't? Why not, Erick? I saved those coupons myself. My clothes are falling apart. Isn't it fair to use them on me? Erick lowered his eyes to her patched-up outfit. He wasn't blind. He had just assumed that because she loved him, she would endure everything. Feeling awkward, his voice softened. You're right. You should have bought new clothes a long time ago. That's my fault. Then he changed the subject. But the wedding rings, where are they? I pawned them. Her voice was void of emotion. Erick blinked, not even asking why. How much did you get for them? Luna, give me that money. She stared at him. Why do you need it? Didn't you just send money to your parents? Since when do you need more? He had no answer. In her past life, he had pawned those rings behind her back to buy Gloria's costumes. But this time, she had gotten there first. If he wanted the money, he'd have to tell the truth. After a long pause, Erick finally spoke. It's just I have a friend. A real friend. His family's in trouble. Something serious. I promised to lend him some money. She cut him off. A friend? Shouldn't I know him then? Who is it? You don't know him. He's from before. Erick was lying. All for Gloria. Pathetic. In her past life, He told her the exact same lie word for word. It had been Gloria herself who accidentally let it slip later. And now here he was again. Still lying. Still unchanged. But Luna wasn't the same woman anymore. Now she knew too. She gave Erick a sorrowful look. What a pity. I already spent the money. You spent it, he gasped. That much money? How could you spend it so fast? Erick didn't believe her. But Luna had already planned everything. She had sent the money to her own parents. It had been 3 years since she left home to be with Erick, and in all that time, she hadn't visited once, hadn't sent a single gift, not even a single yuan. I'm a disgraceful daughter, don't you think? She said softly. Her mother's birthday was coming up. All she wanted was to send something. Erick didn't say a word. For 3 years, Luna had lived entirely for his family. Sending something to her own was only fair. And she had no intention of giving him even the slightest chance to ask for more. Erick grew desperate. He needed that money to buy Gloria's costumes so she could shine. Though he had just returned from his mission and hadn't even rested, he ran off again, frantic, searching for a solution. Not long after, Gloria showed up at the door, practically glowing with pride. Luna, she chirped. Did you hear? I'm going to be the lead dancer. Luna shot her a cold look. And what does that have to do with me? How could it not? Gloria giggled. When Erick found out, he was thrilled. And when he learned I didn't have proper clothes or shoes, he said he'd help me. He's so good to me. Luna stared at her radiant with arrogance. In her past life, Gloria had only flaunted her success much later, when she'd already become the star of the troupe and Erick had risen to power. Only then had she come to gloat. But this time, she was doing it early. Why? Wasn't she afraid Luna would fight back? Expose her? Nope, cause she knew Erick favored her. Because Luna was the weak one. Gloria wasn't afraid of her at all. Luna looked at her for a moment and exhaled. Erick really treats you well, she said calmly. Gloria's smile widened. Of course he does. He cares about me a lot. You know what, Luna? I pity you. You lost your baby, and Erick didn't even flinch. Did you know that instead of taking care of you, he gave me and Lucas all the meat coupons so we could eat well? Her eyes sparkled with cruelty. He cares about us but not you, his wife, who just miscarried. Oh, and when he got back from his mission, guess who he visited first? Us. Not you. Gloria leaned in, voice syrupy sweet. You've been with him for years, are you sure he ever really loved you? Luna stared back in silence. In her past life, Gloria had never been this direct. What had changed? Was she going mad? Gloria continued, basking in her own glory. And since I need expensive clothes and shoes but don't have the money, Erick said he'd figure something out. Isn't he wonderful? Then she smiled slyly. Are you angry, Luna? Don't be. Erick even said he'd pawn his wedding rings to help me. You gave them to him, didn't you? Gave him everything. But it seems that didn't move him much. Luna's heart skipped a beat. How did she know about the rings? In her past life, Gloria hadn't found out until much later after Luna had argued with Erick. There was no way she could know now unless Gloria had also come back from the future. How curious. Luna didn't want to hear another word. She picked up a glass of water and flung it into Gloria's face. Gloria screamed, covered her face, and ran out sobbing. Erick didn't return until the next night. The moment he stepped onto the street, Gloria cornered him, no doubt seizing the chance to play the victim. So when Erick walked into the house, his face was dark, and he lashed out immediately. Gloria came here with good intentions. How could you throw water in her face? Luna, you've disappointed me. Luna sat at the table, eating plain rice with egg soup, completely unfazed. As Erick yelled, she kept eating, not looking up once. By the time he finished ranting, she had already finished her meal. And just to be clear, she had cooked only for herself, nothing for him. She calmly set her chopsticks down. Are you done? Good. Now it's my turn. If Gloria said I mistreated her, Did she also tell you what she said to me? What did she say? Erick asked, suspicious. She said you don't love me. That you only care about her and her son. That's why you gave them all the meat coupons, why you're always bending over backward for them. She also said you were planning to pawn our wedding rings to buy her dance clothes and shoes. And that I'm pathetic. Erick's face fell. That can't be true, Luna. You're making it up. You're still upset about Lucas, and now you're exaggerating everything. She cut him off coldly. Believe it or no, don't care. A deep sadness washed over her. Erick had shared a bed with her for 3 years and still didn't believe her. Deep down, he had always chosen to believe Gloria. She really was as pathetic as Gloria claimed. But not anymore. She looked him in the eye. If you don't trust me, let's divorce. We can file the paperwork tomorrow. Luna, what nonsense are you talking about? You think marriage is a joke. I don't want to hear that word again. Even now, he refused to let go. Luna didn't know why, and frankly, she didn't care. She had already made up her mind. While Erick continued sulking in the living room, she washed up, changed into her pajamas, and went to bed. She knew he was waiting for her to comfort him, to apologize like she always used to. But that version of her no longer existed. She would no longer beg. She wouldn't warm a heart that had already turned away from her. From this night forward, he would have to get used to her silence and her indifference. From that day on, Luna stopped caring about Erick. No more hot meals waiting at home. No more warm water. No more clean clothes. She didn't ask where he was going or when he'd return. She didn't miss him. When he came home, he was greeted only by the cold silence of the house and her indifference. Erick thought she was still angry, so he didn't try to fix anything. They slipped into a silent war. When they passed each other in the hallway, they didn't even make eye contact. They were strangers living under the same roof. Gloria, of course, became the biggest winner. She cooked for Erick, washed his clothes, acted like his wife. She visited often, flaunting herself in front of Luna, trying to provoke her. Each time, Luna threw her out without hesitation. Gloria would cry and run to Erick to complain, but it didn't matter anymore. Luna no longer cared what Erick thought of her. And Erick didn't dare challenge her. Days passed, and Gloria's golden days came to an end. In Luna's past life, she had sacrificed everything, and Erick gave all her savings and coupons to Gloria and her son. But not this time. Luna saved nothing for them. She kept her salary for herself. Half of Erick's income still went to his family, as always, and whatever remained wasn't enough to support Gloria. Without Luna's full support, Gloria could no longer live in luxury. Luna overheard Lucas crying because there was no meat, no cookies, no treats. They even ran out of white rice and fine flour. Without Luna's food coupons, Gloria had to fend for herself. She didn't have enough to eat well. She had to settle for coarse grain, something she could barely tolerate. Watching Luna eat white rice with pork ribs every day filled Gloria with envy, but that wasn't the worst of it. The real blow came as her performance date approached. Erick, still a low-ranking officer, had a meager salary. He tried borrowing money, but no one could lend him the 500 yuan Gloria needed. So on the day of the performance, she had neither the fancy costume nor the expensive shoes. Her dream of dazzling everyone fell flat. Instead of standing out, she walked away with a consolation prize. The contrast to her past life's glory was unbearable. She cried until her eyes were swollen shut, then locked herself inside her home, refusing to see anyone for days. She waited, hoping Erick would come to comfort her, and of course, he did. He spent the whole afternoon at her place, even stayed for dinner. Meanwhile, Luna sat calmly in the living room, waiting, divorce papers in hand. When Erick walked in and saw her waiting, his face lit up. "Luna, were you waiting for me?" She cut him off, handed him the paper. "Take a look. If everything looks fine, sign it." When Erick realized what he was holding, his face darkened instantly. "You want a divorce?" "Luna, how dare you?" Her voice remained even. "Why wouldn't I dare? You love Gloria so much, wouldn't it be better if I just stepped aside and let you two be together? Her composure only infuriated him more. He kicked a chair, threw the papers to the ground, and shouted, "How many times do I have to say it before you believe me? Gloria and I are just friends. I helped her because I felt sorry for her. I'm not interested in her." Luna stared at him. Really? Then answer this. Aren't there others in this compound who also need help? What about Virginia, whose relative is paralyzed? Or Zach, with all those children to feed? Funny I've never seen you jump through hoops for them. Erick's face flushed. He had no comeback. You're being irrational, he barked. It's not what you think. And I'm not divorcing you. Her patience finally wore thin. Erick, why can't you just admit the truth? You can't let go of Gloria. You love her more than you love me. I'm not even blaming you for that. I just want to set you free. Sign the papers and go be with the one you really care about. Isn't that worth celebrating? But Erick growled, I will never divorce you. Don't even dream of it. Then he tore the papers to shreds and glared at her coldly. Marriage isn't a game, Luna. Ours is a military marriage. It's sacred, untouchable. You can't just walk away because of some baseless suspicions. I won't allow it.
And he was right.
Their marriage was protected under military law. Unless he committed a serious offense or agreed to the divorce himself, she couldn't separate from him so easily. But that didn't mean she would resign herself to the same miserable fate. Not this time. No way. That night, the tension between them peaked. Since she had asked for a divorce, Erick started pulling away from Gloria. Then Gloria came crying, saying Lucas had hurt himself. But this time, Erick didn't rush out like before. He paused and looked at Luna. She's a single mother. It's not easy for her. Why don't we help them together? Will you come with me? Luna knew all too well what those two were up to. After everything they had done to her, how could she possibly go help them? Her tone was cold. If you want to go, go. But don't drag me with you. And isn't it strange? There's so many families here. Why does she always come to you? Why not anyone else? Erick stood frozen. Outside, Gloria cried for a long time with no response. Then she started yelling dramatically, Lucas, don't scare Mommy. Help. Someone, please, Lucas has fainted. Her screams echoed through the night, and Erick couldn't resist any longer. I'll just go for a moment, he said. I'll be back soon. But he didn't return until very late. When he did, he came in holding a bag of candies. He walked in cautiously and explained, Lucas hurt his leg. It was bad, but we got him to the hospital in time. Luna laughed bitterly to herself. What Erick didn't know was that while he was at the hospital, Gloria had returned home. She stood in front of Luna, smiling smugly. She bragged about how concerned Erick had been, how he had paid the medical bill, how the doctor thought she was his wife, how perfect they looked together, and how Erick had bought them treats. She wasn't just showing off, she wanted to humiliate Luna. But Luna wasn't hurt by her words. She just wondered, why? Why did she have to endure this? None of it was hers to bear. All of it was Erick's fault. He had created this mess. Erick, oblivious to her thoughts, handed her the candies with a smile. I bought these on the way back. Try one.
She didn't take them.
Instead, she looked at him and said coldly, Are you sure they're for me? And not just leftovers from Gloria and her son. His face turned bright red. She had publicly shamed him. Luna, I already apologized. Please don't stay mad. I just felt sorry for them. They have no one else. She'd heard that excuse too many times. If she couldn't change Erick, then she would change herself. She covered her ears and slammed the door in his face. In the living room, he kept sighing. In the past, every sigh from him would shatter her heart. Now it meant nothing. She fell asleep quickly, and in her dream, she felt a pair of arms wrap around her. She woke with a jolt. Erick's handsome face was inches from hers. He was holding her tightly, breathing heavily. Luna, let's have a baby. A child will fix everything. A baby? He still thought he could trap her with a child? She remembered the cruel words she had heard before her death in her past life. Fury surged through her. She shoved him away. He didn't let go. He kept pleading. So she slapped him hard. Smack. Erick froze in disbelief. She pushed him off the bed with all her strength.
Thud.
He hit the floor hard. Still in shock, he looked up at her from the ground. She stared back, ice cold. You disgust me, Erick. The light stayed on all night. Erick didn't sleep. He sat beside the bed in silence. At dawn, Luna got up, washed her face, and left the house without a word. After breakfast, she went to the office. She picked up the phone and dialed a number she had buried deep in her heart for years. The line rang. Her hands trembled. For Erick, she had distanced herself from the people who loved her most. Would they even answer my call after all this time? At last, a familiar voice came through. Hello. Tears rushed to Luna's eyes. Her throat tightened. Mom? Mom, it's me, Luna. Luna? Is that really you? My Luna? It's me, Mom. It's really me. You ungrateful girl. 3 years. 3 years without a word. How could you do this to us? I'm sorry, Mom.
I'm so sorry. It was all my fault.
Please forgive me. She cried uncontrollably. Her mother wept too. Luna, your father, your brother, your grandmother waited for you every single day. Are you okay? Does Erick treat you well? Do you have kids? When are you coming home? We've missed you so much. The questions came one after another, but Luna could only sob harder. Mom, I'll come see you. But I'm coming alone. Her mother caught on instantly. Did he hurt you? That heartless bastard, did he mistreat you? She shouted. That wretched man.
How dare he?
Wait, will come right now. Your father, your brother, and I will teach him a lesson.
No, Mom.
Don't. There's no need. I've already made up my mind. I'm going to divorce Erick. Silence. Then, firmly, we support you. No matter what. We're with you. Her mother didn't ask why. She knew Luna knew she was the kind of woman who once gave up everything for love. If Luna was walking away now, it had to be serious. We're here for you, Luna. Just tell us what you need. Whatever it is, we'll do it. If I can't get divorced legally, Luna said quietly, tell Dad to pull his strings. One way or another, I'm leaving. Her father wasn't just anyone. If Erick refused to let her go, he had the power to end the marriage. But it turned out that wasn't even necessary because Gloria came to Luna on her own. Her eyes were swollen from crying, her face twisted with rage and frustration. I never thought you'd stoop this low, she sneered. Playing dirty behind everyone's back. Using mind games. How pathetic. Say what you came to say, Luna replied, her patience gone. Gloria glared. Erick asked me to talk to you. He says there's nothing between us. That you're misunderstanding everything. Luna arched a brow. Misunderstanding? Didn't you say yourself that Erick only thinks about you and your son? That he wanted to pawn our wedding rings to buy you clothes and shoes? Didn't you mock me for losing his love? Gloria's face darkened, speechless. Caught red-handed. Fine, Luna. You win. Happy now? Win what? Luna asked coldly. Don't play dumb. You threatened divorce just to make Erick drop me. Manipulative little witch. She spoke like Luna had committed a crime. Now that Erick's career is rising, a divorce scandal would ruin him. For his sake, I'll do anything, even apologize to you. She gritted her teeth.
I'm sorry.
It was my fault. I caused the misunderstanding. Please forgive me. Luna blinked, stunned. Was this actually an apology? Did Erick really send her to apologize? But it didn't matter. It was far too late. And just when Luna thought Gloria couldn't stoop any lower, she added venomously, even if I apologize, I still despise you. You're cunning, Luna. You think this stunt will make Erick yours forever? Maybe you'll have his body but his heart? That always belonged to me. Luna let out a cold laugh. Oh, Gloria, all that you've endured for Erick was never necessary. You want to marry him? Be his one and only? Then stop wasting time attacking me. Think for once. There are better ways to get what you want. Gloria blinked, confused. What ways? Luna reached for the divorce papers and handed them to her. Get him to sign this. Then he's yours. You say you two are meant to be, right? Then make it official. Gloria stared at her, stunned. You're serious? This isn't a trick? Read it.
Take your time.
If you can get him to sign it, I'll walk away. Gloria hesitated, then carefully read every word, searching for traps, tiny print, hidden clauses. When she finished, still doubtful, she asked, Why are you giving up now? You were with him when he had nothing. Why let go now that he's rising? Luna looked her dead in the eyes. Because I have principles. And used men disgust me. That shut Gloria up. She believed her. Snatching the papers, she turned and stormed out.
Fine. I'll make him sign.
But you better keep your word. Luna had no doubt that Gloria would use every trick she had. Erick could easily forget the woman who once starved by his side. Luna trusted that Gloria would come back with signed papers. She began packing. 3 years ago, she had followed Erick with nothing but a gold bracelet. And now, 3 years later, she was leaving with just as little. It took less than 10 minutes to pack everything she owned. It all fit in one small bag. And just as she finished, Erick walked through the door. He came home carrying bags of meat, fish, and fresh vegetables. Without a word, he went straight to the kitchen. Luna stayed in the bedroom. An hour later, he knocked softly. Luna, dinner's ready. She stepped out. The dining table was covered in food. But what caught her eye was a small, delicately decorated cake. Erick smiled like nothing had ever gone wrong. Come sit, he said cheerfully. He noticed her gaze lingering on the cake. Luna, he said, today's our 3rd wedding anniversary. I wanted to celebrate with you. How ironic that he remembered. In her past life, she had always been the only one who remembered. Erick never cared. And now, just as she was leaving, he pulled T's an act of desperation. It wasn't touching. It was hollow. Still, she sat and ate with mixed emotions. Erick kept talking about their 3 years together, about how she had given up everything for him, about the hardships they had overcome. He looked at her with those familiar eyes, filled with gentle affection. Finally, he reached for her hand. Luna, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have hurt you. I promise I'll change. Will you forgive me? Bitterness surged in her chest. She remembered everything. She knew exactly what he had done. So why now? Why act like this? No matter how sincere his words sounded, they didn't move her. Because she remembered. She remembered the betrayal, the deathbed, and her son's words. Dad, when Mom dies, can you finally marry Aunt Gloria? She's waited so long. Erick had wanted her dead so he could marry Gloria. What a cruel, bitter irony. He lit the candles on the cake, took her hand in his, and smiled softly. Make a wish, he said. She smiled back, closed her eyes, folded her hands as if in prayer, and made her wish. I end the past. Luna had always made the same wish to stay with Erick forever, to live a happy life without ever parting. But now she wished for just one thing, to never see him again. 2 days later, Gloria returned with the signed divorce papers. Luna didn't ask how she got Erick to sign them, she didn't care. Gloria handed over the document with a tense expression and a sharp warning. You better not regret this. I won't forgive you if you do. Was that a threat? What gave Gloria the audacity? Luna accepted the papers with perfect calm. I won't regret it. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Gloria, for helping her get exactly what she wanted. But from this moment on, Gloria was on her own. All she saw was the shine of Erick's rising career. She had no idea what had been sacrificed along the way. In the previous life, Erick's promotion wasn't just from hard work. Luna had been his backbone. She had used her family's influence to lift him up. Gloria thought she had hit the jackpot, thought she would live like a queen as the wife of a rising military officer. But was she really cut out for that role? Not long after, Erick was sent out on another mission. As soon as he left, Luna wasted no time. She went straight to his unit's commander with the signed divorce papers. The commander was stunned. "You're getting divorced? But I thought everything was fine between you two." Luna shook her head. "It hasn't been for a long time." He didn't believe her at first and even tried to call Erick, who was on duty, but Luna stopped him. She told him she'd been away from her family for years and wanted to go back to care for her aging father. The moment she mentioned her father's name, the commander went silent. Without another word, he stamped and signed the documents. Luna then went directly to the civil registry. Within hours, the divorce certificate was in her hands. She handed in her resignation to Erick's unit. No one objected. No one tried to stop her. That same day, everything was settled. She went straight to the station and bought a one-way ticket home. From now on, Erick would go his way and she hers. Forever. While Erick was away for more than 2 weeks, he found himself missing Luna like never before. He was supposed to return at dawn, but the longing overwhelmed him, and he rushed home in the dead of night. The house was silent. He entered quietly, gently opening the bedroom door. On the bed lay Luna, sleeping soundly under the covers. A smile formed on his lips. He quietly washed up and slid into bed. The warmth of the sheets, the comfort of her presence missed it all. Carefully, he wrapped his arms around the woman he had longed for so deeply. He hesitated, nervous. He remembered the slap, the shove, the cold eyes. Would it be different now? But then, as if answering his fears, the woman turned in her sleep and wrapped her arms around him. Since the miscarriage, they hadn't shared any intimacy. Her gesture ignited a fire in him. Something felt off, something strange, like she wasn't quite Luna, but who else could be in their bed?
He gave in. Completely.
That night was wild, passionate, unrestrained. As morning light crept through the curtains, Erick carefully released the woman, wanting to surprise her with breakfast. But as he turned and saw her face, he froze.
Gloria.
He blinked, rubbed his eyes, even bit his own arm. It wasn't a dream. It was real. Gloria was in his bed. What the hell, Gloria? Where's Luna? What did you do to her? Panic flooded his voice. Did you set me up? You sick, twisted, how could you do this to me? I was only trying to help you. How do I even begin to explain this to Luna? His rage exploded. He lunged at Gloria, grabbing her by the throat. You vile snake. Why did you do this? Why? Gloria's flushed face turned pale. She couldn't move. She clawed at his arms, gasping, terrified she might die. Then the door burst open. Let her go. Don't hurt my mom. Lucas's voice shrieked through the chaos. The boy hurled himself at Erick, crying and screaming. But Erick had lost control. Rage consumed him.
Why?
Why had Gloria betrayed him like this? He had helped her out of gratitude. Her brother had once saved his life, and this was how she repaid him.
Luna had been right.
She wasn't jealous. She hadn't exaggerated. She had seen what he refused to see. You disgusting wretch. You should die, he shouted, tightening his grip. Blood oozed from Gloria's scratched neck, but Erick didn't stop. Lucas, desperate, bit Erick's leg. Erick, in pain, kicked him hard. Crack. The boy flew across the room, slammed into the wall, bounced off the corner of a table, and hit the ground with a sickening thud. Blood gushed from his mouth. Neighbors, jolted by the screaming, burst into the house only to freeze in horror. It took several people to pry Erick off Gloria. She lay gasping for air, on the verge of collapse. Lucas didn't move. Blood soaked the floor around his head. He had hit the table's edge with his face, one eye gone. Gloria shrieked like a wild animal. Naked, she crawled to her son, wailing, Lucas, don't scare Mommy. Please. Someone save him. Lucas was rushed to the hospital. The diagnosis: 2 broken ribs and permanent blindness in one eye. Gloria's screams at the hospital were chilling, blood-curdling. The scandal was too big to hide. Erick was arrested by military police and placed in solitary confinement. The High Command convened an emergency meeting to determine his fate. A week later, Erick was released. His first words were, "Where's Luna? Where is she? I want to see her." His superior sighed, handed him a sealed envelope. Inside were divorce papers signed. "Luna divorced you. She's gone."
What?
"When did she divorce me? Why didn't anyone tell me?" "This is the signed report. With your signature. You, of all people, should know how this happened." Erick clutched his head.
No.
"I never signed anything." But then where did that signature come from? He forced himself to remember, and suddenly it hit him. Right before he left on his last mission, Gloria had come to him at night with a document she asked him to sign. Once upon a time, Luna's only wish was to be with Erick forever, never part, to live happily ever after. But now, all she wished for was to never see him again. Gloria worked quickly. Just 2 days later, Luna held the signed divorce papers in her hand. She didn't ask how Gloria convinced Erick to sign them. She didn't care. Gloria handed her the document with a cold glare and a warning. "You'd better not regret this. I won't forgive you if you do." Luna smiled calmly as she accepted the papers. "I won't."
Thank you.
"Yes, thank you, Gloria, for handing her exactly what she wanted." But from this moment on, Gloria was truly alone. All she saw was the glory of Erick's rising career. She had no idea what had built it. In their past life, Erick hadn't risen solely through his own efforts. Luna had been his foundation, and her family's connections had been crucial. Gloria thought she'd won the jackpot, that she'd live like royalty as the wife of a high-ranking officer. But was she even worthy of the position? Shortly after, Erick was deployed again. The moment he left, Luna went straight to his commanding officer with the divorce documents. The man was stunned. "You're divorcing? I thought everything was fine." "It hasn't been for a long time," Luna replied. He tried calling Erick, but Luna stopped him. She mentioned wanting to return home to care for her elderly father. At the sound of her father's name, the commander fell silent and signed the papers without another word. Luna proceeded to the civil registry, received the official certificate, and immediately submitted her resignation. No one stopped her. That very same day, it was all done. She bought her ticket and boarded the train, never looking back. Erick and Luna now walked separate roads forever. Erick had once told Gloria that Luna insisted on the divorce and asked her to apologize in his name. As a final favor, Gloria had said she wanted to buy a house for herself and her son. The money would come out of his salary. Believing it would be their last interaction, Erick agreed. Gloria brought over what she claimed was a real estate contract. He signed it without reading. It wasn't a property deed, it was the divorce form. Erick clutched his head, eyes squeezed shut, devastated. There was no turning back. That shameless woman, she had tricked him. If that's what she wanted, she could have it. But he'd make her pay for everything. Meanwhile, Luna returned home to a warm welcome. Her parents, brother, and grandmother never blamed her for loving the wrong man. They offered her love, safety, and a second chance. Within months, she began preparing for university entrance exams. After years of marriage, she had forgotten much, but she studied day and night to catch up. Her efforts paid off. She was accepted into her dream university. 4 years passed in a blink. After graduation, she served her country with pride. She let go of her past, let go of the pain Erick and Gloria caused. Time had healed every wound. 2 years into her new career, at the age of 30, she met a man she truly loved. They got married. The wedding was beautiful. She finally wore the white dress she had always dreamed of. Her new husband adored her. He gave her everything she had once longed for: genuine love, stability, and a life of dignity. Their honeymoon abroad was magical. Their wedding rings were perfect. Her life became sweetness and warmth. He only had eyes for her, showered her with affection, and cared for her in the gentlest ways. She was, for the first time, truly happy. Months later, she became pregnant. 10 months after, they welcomed a precious baby into the world. Her husband, ever resourceful, left his stable job during the economic reform and started his own business. It flourished, expanding nationwide. On their 10th anniversary, he threw a lavish banquet in her honor. Luna had a few drinks and stepped outside to get some air. That's when she bumped into someone cleaning the restroom. A frail, wrinkled woman in a janitor's uniform froze in shock at the sight of her. "Luna, is that you?" the woman gasped. Luna squinted at her, trying to recall the face. It didn't ring any bells. "Do I know you? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you?" the woman screeched, fury burning in her eyes. That look of hate was familiar. Luna looked closer, then slowly pieced it together. "Gloria? What are you doing here?" She hadn't heard anything about Gloria or Erick in years. Her family never mentioned them. She'd assumed that even if Erick hadn't reached the same heights as before, he was at least still a general. How is it possible that Gloria, the woman who once strutted with pride, was now scrubbing toilets? Luna's stunned reaction struck Gloria like a slap. "How dare you ask me that? You snake! This is all your fault!" Gloria screamed, pointing a trembling finger. "If you hadn't handed me those keys, I wouldn't be like this." Luna tilted her head, innocent. "I just gave you the keys. I never told you to move in with Erick. You two were close, weren't you? Wasn't it natural to live together?" Gloria's face twisted with rage. "You did it on purpose. You tricked me into sleeping with him. After that, he hated me, lost everything, and now my son's disabled because of you." Hatred consumed her gaze. "How could you be so cruel to me?" Luna finally understood it all and couldn't help but laugh. "What exactly did I trick you into? Did I force you to take off your clothes? Didn't you say he loved you? I stepped aside. I gave you both room. Weren't you supposed to be happy?" Gloria froze, as if reliving a memory. "It wasn't supposed to be like this. My life wasn't supposed to be like this. In the past, Erick had risen to the top. They had lived like royalty, her son had a prestigious job, and everyone respected her." "Really? So, what went wrong this time?" Luna asked coldly.
You
ruined everything. You planned this from the start." Gloria blamed her for everything: her ruined relationship, her pain, her life. "You monster. Erick lost everything because of you. He was discharged, sent back to the countryside. He has got nothing now." Luna shrugged. "Wasn't that true love? Or did you dump him the moment he lost his power?" "I didn't leave him," Gloria cried. "Even after he crippled my son, I forgave him. I kept him out of prison. I married him. I wanted to grow old with him, but he hates me. He makes my life hell. He hits me. He screams at me. Says I tore him from Luna, and now I have to suffer forever." Her sobs echoed like knives in the dark. "I live in a nightmare," but Luna didn't have the time or the sympathy to hear more. She turned and walked away. In the end, everyone must live with their own choices. Gloria chose Erick. Now, she must carry the weight of that decision. After all, that was exactly what she fought so hard to win. /strong/heart. Surprised face.
Ush.